Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Uh, um, Today, uh, we've, we're going to present about the political idea about the political ideologies in German, from Wolf to Bridge. This is the story of German integration and unification. My name is Hefzi Dandito, and I have Jamal Munji and Ahmad Arshad bin Ahmad Nazran. This is about our content about the political ideology situation in German uh, during the East and West Berlin and its effect in the present. Story of German integration and unification is a complex and compelling narrative that spans centuries, characterized by political fragmentation, cultural and nationalistic fervor. In the early 19th century, the region now known as Germany was a patchwork of independent states and principalities, loosely connected by language and culture, but divided by political boundaries and local loyalties. The impetus for unification gained the momentum in the wake of Napoleonic Wars as the ideas of nationalism and liberation spread across Europe. Okay, first one's historical context. Germany before the unification of East and West was a nation marked by the profound division, reflecting the broader geopolitical tension of the Cold War. This period, spanning from the end of the World War II in 1945 until the fall of the Berlin Wall in 1989 and the eventual reunification in 1990 saw Germany split into two distinct states: the Federal Republic of Germany in the west and the German Democratic Republic in the east. Start from the East Germany, which is established in 1949, operate under the socialist regime with its capital in East Berlin. Governed by the Social Unity Party, and the GDR maintained the command economy closely aligned with the Soviet Union and was to support the Eastern Bloc and the Council of Mutual Economic Assistance. Life in East Germany was heavily regulated by states, with limited political freedom and widespread surveillance by the Stasi, the State Security Service. Stasi usually act like a police in the East Germany. Despite these repressive measures, the GDR made notable strides in areas like education and healthcare. The other one's West Germany. Established in 1949, was a democratic state with its capital in Bonn. It enjoyed the capital market economy and allied itself in the Western Bloc, becoming a key member of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization and the European Economic Community. This post-war years saw West Germany experience a world's tough wonder of the economic miracle, which brought rapid industrial growth, high living standards, and a robust social welfare system. The FRG was characterized characterized by political stability, economic prosperity, and a vibrant democratic culture. The most poignant symbol of German division was the Berlin Wall, erected in 1961. The wall physically and ideologically divide the East and West Berlin, becoming powerful presence in the Cold War divide. It separated families and friends, cutting to the heart of the nation and epitomizing the border struggle between East and West. There's several reasons why the why the Berlin Wall will fall. Is fall. On October 1989, longtime Socialist Unity Party of Germany, leader led by Erich Honecker, stepped down in favor of Krenz. Honecker has been seriously ill, and those looking to replace him were initially willing to wait for a biological solution. But by October, were convinced that the political and economic situation was too grave. Uh, Honecker approved the choice, named Krenz in his resignation speech, and the Volkskammer duly elected him. Although the Krenz promised reforms in his first public speech, he was considered by the East Germany public to be following his predecessor's policies, and public protests demanding his resignation continued. Despite the promise of reform, public opposition to the regime continued to grow. On 1 November, Krenz authorized reopening the border of Czechoslovakia, which had been sealed to prevent East Germans from fleeing to West Germany. On 4 November, the Alexanderplatz demonstration took place. On 6 November, the Interior Ministry published a draft new travel regulation which make cosmetic change to Honecker-era rules, leaving the approval process opaque, maintaining uncertainty regarding access to foreign currency. Draft enraged the ordinary citizens and was denounced as a complete trash by West Berlin Mayor Walter Schwamper. Hundreds of refugees crowded onto the steps of the West German embassy in Prague, enraging the Czechoslovaks, who was threatened Basilov is German Czech-Slovak border. On 7 November, Krenz approved the resignation. Prime Minister will stop and two bursts of the Politburo. However, Krenz was unanimously re-elected as a General Secretary by the General Central Committee. The second reason is new East German immigration policy. On 9 October, on 19 October, Krenz asked Gerhard Lothar to draft a new travel policy. Lothar was a former People Police officer. After rising rapidly to the ranks, he had recently been promoted to a position with the Interior Ministry as a head of the department responsible of issuing passport and registration of citizens. On November on 7, on 7 of November, the East German Politburo enacted a portion of the draft travel regulation addressing permanent immigration immediately. Initially, the Politburo plans to create a special border crossing near Schirnding specially for this immigration. However, Interior Ministry official and Stasi bureaucrats charged with the drafting of the new text concluded the proposal was not feasible and instead crafted new text relating to both immigration and temporary travel. The revised text stipulated each German citizen could apply the permission to travel abroad without having to meet the previous requirement for those trips. This to ease these difficulties, the Kanzler's Politburo decided of November the night of refugees could exit directly to the crossing point between East Germany and West Germany, including between East and West Berlin. Later the same day, the ministerial administration modified the proposal to include private round-trip travel. New regulation would take effect next day.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Ahmad Arshad bin Ahmad Nazran. So our work focuses on the question of integration on the back of the reunification of East and West Germany in 1989 to 1990. So this reunification was not only a historic event but also a significant diplomatic and political achievement. So we are analyzing and critiquing the integration in four aspects in an attempt to observe and understand that if the proverbial wall is still present or if a bridge has successfully been constructed. So these aspects are economic, social, political, and also cultural. So let's start with discussion of economic integration of Germany. So its broader economic impact, we find it has been more modest than expected in the sense that it's primarily affecting the citizens of former East Germany, while the Western Germans perceive these changes as somewhat peripheral. So what does it mean? We'll go to the next slide. First is the pre-existing economic differences. Before reunification, there were substantial economic differences between East and West Germany. In West Germany, where it's capitalist market economy, they had the GDP per capita of Deutsche Mark of 40,000, while East Germany, with them under a socialist planned economy, had only Deutsche Mark of 16,000 of GDP. West Germany, they have the advanced technology and efficient business management, so that resulted in significantly higher industrial output compared to East Germany. So additionally, we can see the unemployment rates in East Germany were nearly double those of the West at 10% versus 5.6%. So for the policies for economic integration, to bridge the economic gap, several policies were implemented post-reunification. So one key strategy involved was they transferred 1.3 trillion euros, or what become euro, from West to East Germany between 1990 and 1999. So the privatization of over 8,000 state-owned enterprises by a trust agency called Treuhandanstalt was another critical step, although it was seen as controversial and led to job losses. But additionally, and I think this is the most important one, where we can see there's economic stabilization measures. One of it was the introduction of Deutsche Mark. It was introduced in East Germany to curb hyperinflation and stabilize the economy. So next, following reunification, Germany faced economic struggles in the 1990s, the whole unified Germany. So unemployment rate nearly doubled, GDP growth slowed to an average of 1.5% per year. The government's fiscal strategy included raising, they have to raise taxes and cut spending, which leads to budget deficits and increased public debt. However, there are also extensive labor market reforms and subsequently a manufacturing reboom, which eventually helped Germany to become ultimately the Europe's economic powerhouse, as we can see now. So after 30 years of reunification, East and West Germany um, have seen remarkable economic success. As you can see in the previous slide, back during 1991, we can see there's the initial economic struggle, and then they recovered quite substantially. And this remarkable economic success is seen from the investment influx, which comes from both public and private sectors. So this revitalized or rejuvenated the Eastern economy. It creates unemployment opportunities, thereby it boosted the GDP. So the infrastructure improvements were also made, particularly in transportation, telecommunications, medical and public services. But one notable success story is how we can see the transformation of the Trabant car, or the Trabant car factory in Zwickau, which is now the Volkswagen factory. So the Trabant car was actually once a symbol of East Germany's economic inefficiency. So that's one of the where we look at the socialist or the communist production, and we look at the car. Trabant is the thing. Again, so the story was quite complicated. We can say that it was replaced by state-of-the-art Volkswagen production facilities later on. So this transformation, driven by significant investment in technology, training and infrastructure, it exemplifies the successful shift from socialism to capitalism. So how this plant in Zwickau shows that the modernized plant, which is now the Volkswagen plant, it became a significant employer, reduces unemployment, and it contributes to economic growth. So despite the gains, significant obstacles remain in economic integration of East and West Germany. So we can see a persistent economic disparities, which are evident with GDP per capita in the East remains to be lower and unemployment rates being higher than in the West. So these disparities, these inequalities stem from initial economic conditions in East Germany, as we have covered before. So this required sustained intervention. And then the integration process also faced the kind of social and psychological barriers, and this is overlapped with another integration, the social integration and the cultural integration. So many former East Germans, they experience identity crisis. They themselves were quite hesitant and sometimes resistant to the new capitalist system because the rapid pace of change. It happened in one night, right? And then the dismantling of this socialist structure in East Germany led to feelings of disenfranchisement and ultimately further hinders integration. So until now, we see that addressing these challenges requires ongoing efforts to bridge economic disparities and foster social cohesion. And now we can look into how it implicates within on the ideological development. So in our paper, we make an argument that the fall of Berlin has an overall negative impact on what is deemed to be ideally social democracy. So what we can say that the fall of Berlin marked the end of ideological conflict, yes, between capitalism and communism. But it also disrupted the social democratic compact that had greatly aided the post-wars era. So there's an argument that while the West Germany or the Western influenced countries, they propose or they are the proponent of complete capitalist society, the very fact that they are running of their state or regime mirrors the best of social democracy, meaning that they have a competent welfare system, and the question is how the influx of those who previously adhered to communist regime may affect this. So communism played a role in keeping social democracy alive in the West. Yes, we can understand that with many early principles of social democratic movements shared with communist parties, yes. But after the Cold War, the ideological check supporting social democratic measures was dismantled. So that's the thing. When when the extreme right is somehow elevated without being countered by the balance of the extreme left, this is conundrum that we are facing now. So it leads to the dominance of neoliberal policies, so that prioritize profit over people's well-being. So ultimately, we can see that this shift resulted in weaker social safety nets and increased inequality. So the thing is that the erosion of social democratic institutions had significant repercussions. So we can say it weakens the democracy and it gives rise to political extremism. So to adapt the social democratic agreement of modern era requires a renewed focus on universal public services, worker protections, perhaps the R&D investments to address challenges posed by globalization and automation. So now we move on to social integration. So the social integration of East and West Germany, they do pose significant challenges as well, especially in aligning social values and fostering trust. So East German, having lived under socialist regime, they developed different social values and expectations compared to their Western counterparts. So East Germans, they were accustomed to collectivist nature, which means that emphasizes state support and community solidarity. So in contrast, West Germany or the West Germans, they live in a capitalist market economy. They value individualism and personal responsibility. So there are studies that show that the trust levels were significantly lower among East Germans than West Germans. Thereby, it impacts the social cohesion and integration efforts. So when we compare the welfare system, it reveals different attitudes and acceptance level. So West Germans generally accepted welfare reforms positively, yeah, because it is they deem it as necessary for economic modernization. However, East Germans, because they are used to state-provided welfare, they found the changes quite challenging and often resisted the new systems. They were used to their own way of state welfare system and are quite distrusting on the Western adoption or Western version of it. So we can see that's a significant disparities between East and West regions, particularly among regarding employment and income levels. So although new welfare policies aim to enhance social mobility by providing access to education, healthcare, and employment opportunities, they still face resistance, and it does highlight the significant regional disparities. So to bridge this social divide, the unified German government, they implement several policies aimed at increasing social integration, thereby harmonizing the social welfare system and improving living standards in the East. So one of the key strategies was to extend West Germany's comprehensive social welfare system to the East, like we said before. It includes employment benefits, healthcare, and pension schemes. So of course, these measures, they provide some safety net for the former East Germans during economic transition. Although as I stated before, there were challenges in them actually accepting it. So despite extending social welfare benefits, the implementation faced challenges due to differences in administrative systems and public expectations. So that again comes to the trust. The transition to a market-based system, so it required significant adjustments from East Germany. So what the policy that were introduced was to manage this adjustment period, to give a buffer, to provide support, to help former East Germans to adapt to this new economic environment. So Berlin, now we come to the role of Berlin and how it's central to our work, to our study. So Berlin was a formerly divided capital in the Cold War. It played a unique role in the integration process. It's actually quite as I say, unique. After unification, Berlin experienced a period of urban development, not the least because it is chosen to be the capital of a unified Germany. They have significant investment in infrastructure, housing, and public services. So these efforts aim to integrate the city as a symbol of a broader unification of Germany. So Berlin's economic growth and transformation into a hub for also the innovative new companies to come in. So it would boost the industries of digital, cultural, and media. And also it shows the role of a melting pot of cultures and individuals. And ultimately, or essentially, this strategy is aimed to harmonize social welfare systems and also to improve living standards in the East, despite facing challenges due to differing administrative systems and public expectations. So, survey also after education, what we can see in the social circumstance, there are surveys indicate that the unification of Germany was overwhelmingly viewed as a positive development. Most people in both East and West Germany reported improvements in living standards, healthcare, national pride, family values, and law and order. And the positive perception of unification across various aspects of life, it shows or emphasizes and underlines the general success of the unification process, despite what we say the ongoing challenges. And this again, we have to re-emphasize that in merging these two distinct social systems, it presents significant challenges. However, we still want to put the best light of it. We can see there's a several noteworthy achievements in social cohesion which emerged. So a major success, as I said before, was the transfer of West Germany's welfare system to East Germany. So and we say that again, they provide a safety net during economic transition, which alleviates short-term disruptions and lay the groundwork for long-term stability. One of the successes also are the community development programs, and these were implemented to bridge cultural differences and to foster mutual understanding and respect. So these initiatives increased community engagement and facilitated interaction among residents from diverse backgrounds. Another one is educational reforms. So there are new curricula and teacher training programs aimed at bridging education disparities between East and the West, Berlin especially, to promote unified national identity. So Berlin as the form, so we can say that over the years, the economic and social disparities between East and West and Germany have narrowed significantly. So investment, as I said, in infrastructure, healthcare, education, social system. Also Berlin, which saw significant investments in it, it improved the access to resources and also opportunities for former East Germans. And we see. I state again that the survey indicate that most people in both East Germany view unification positively because they see the improvements in living standards, healthcare, national pride, and social values. So that's it from me. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum, I'm Jamal and I will continue about the political integration. Here I will talk the differences in political preferences and the political behaviors in East and Western Germany and its influence and its historical influence on political ideology. The political preferences in East and West Germany have been deeply influenced by their distinct historical experiences. West Germany, shaped by its integration into the West Bloc, developed a political cultural grounded in democratic and capitalist ideas. In contrast, East Germany, under Soviet influence, fostered a socialist and authoritarian political culture. These divergent historical paths have resulted in varying political behaviors and preferences, with East Germany often displayed more skepticism towards capitalism and a strong inclination towards socialist policies compared to their Western counterpart. And harmonizing political system, efforts to integrate political system and public administration. The reunification of Germany necessitated substantial efforts to harmonize the political system and public administration of the former East and West Germany. This included the integration of legal frameworks institutional structures, and administrative practices. The process involved extensive training and restructuring to align the East administrative system with Western democratic standards. Key policies aimed at this integration include the adoption of the West German Basic Law and the reorganization of local governments to ensure uniformity across the unified German. Key policies and the implementation. Several key policies were implemented to facilitate political integration. The introduction of market-based economic reform in East Germany, the alignment of social security system, and the establishment of federal institutions in the East were critical steps. Additionally, policies aimed at political education and the promotion of democratic values played a significant role in bridging the ideological divide between the East and West. And for cultural integration, cultural differences. Here the examination of cultural differences between East and Western Germans. Cultural differences between East and Western Germans are rooted in their distinct historical trajectories. East Germans, having lived under a socialist regime, tend to value community and social equality more, while Western Germans, influenced by capitalist and democratic ideas, often prioritize individualism and economic freedom. These cultural distinctions manifest in various aspects of life, including work ethics, social norms, and political attitude. Role of historical narratives and collective memory. Historical narratives and collective memory play a crucial role in shaping the cultural identities of East and West Germans. The experiences of living under different political systems have created divergent collective memories, which influence contemporary cultural and social behaviors. Efforts to create a unified national narrative have been essential in promoting cultural cohesion. Integration efforts, government policies for cultural integration. The German government have implemented numerous policies to foster cultural integration between the East and West. These policies include educational reforms aimed at promoting a sharing national identity, cultural exchange programs, and initiatives to preserve and celebrate regional traditions such efforts are designed to bridge cultural divides and encourage mutual understanding and respect. Impact on social cohesion and cultural exchange. Government-led cultural integration initiatives have had a positive impact on social cohesion and cultural exchange. Programs that facilitate inter-regional cultural exchange have helped to reduce prejudice and foster a sense of national unity. However, challenges remain as lingering stereotypes and economic disparities can hinder the full realization of these integration efforts. Gender roles and social mobility. Changes in gender roles post-reunification. Germans have been significant changes in gender roles, particularly in the former East. Under the socialist regime, East German women enjoyed greater participation in the workforce and more comprehensive child care supports. The transition to unified German brought challenges and opportunities for redefining gender roles, with efforts to balance work and family life becoming a focal point for social policy. Social mobility trend and challenges. Social mobility trend in reunified Germany revealed both progress and persistent challenges. While there have been improvement in educational and employment opportunities, regional disparities continue to affect social mobility. The former East German states still face higher unemployment rates and lower income levels compared to the West, impacting overall social mobility. Challenges and success. Success stories, ongoing challenges, and cultural cohesion. There are numerous success stories of cultural integration, including collaborative projects and community initiatives that celebrate diversity and promote unity. However, ongoing challenges such as economic inequality and regional biases continue to affect cultural cohesion. Addressing these issues requires sustained efforts and innovative policy solutions. Government policies have played a crucial role in promoting cultural integration. Their impact varies. While some initiatives have successfully bridged cultural gaps and foster a sense of national identity, others have faced a resistance or limited success due to deep-rooted economic and social differences. Continuous evaluation and adaptation of these policies are necessary to achieve lasting cultural integration.
The reunification of Germany in 1989, marked by the fall of the Berlin Wall and the Peaceful Revolution, stands as a watershed moment in European history. By bringing down the Berlin Wall, the Cold War came to an end, beginning a new era of unification. So our paper examined the comprehensive East and West German integration process, covering economics, social, politics, and cultural aspects. Though the differing philosophies that had long kept the two sides apart brought both great difficulties and possibilities with reunification. Economically, significant progress has been made through policies like financial or investment transfers, privatization, and infrastructure development, which can be exemplified by the restructuring of the Volkswagen factory in Zwickau. Socially, living standards have increased, and social cohesion has somewhat been promoted through educational reforms and community development programs. Politically, efforts to harmonize systems and to advance democratic governance have also in some level led to a unified political environment. And culturally, fostering mutual understanding and protecting regional cultures have been set up, and it is crucial. But in many ways, Germany today continues to be divided. And this is a sobering fact, evidenced by the many challenges that is highlighted in our paper's analysis. So even though the wall has been removed in a literal sense, there continues to be an invisible barrier separating Germans, a legacy of the division in the Cold War. So while the story of German unification was desperately wanted to be told as a romantic notion, we have to say it is a continuing tragedy. The convergence between these two parts of Germany may take longer than what was hoped. So it is a testament that the proverbial bridge has not been completed. That's it from us. Thank you so much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.